All right, so after a couple of rainy and foggy August mornings, we've got a beautifully sunny September morning here at Osborne Mountain Overlook. It's still fairly warm, so we haven't gotten those fall temperatures yet that we need to get the fall colors, but hopefully that will come soon. I was going to check on the milkweed here, but turns out they've mowed this meadow. This is not the best time of the year to mow, at least as far as the butterflies are concerned. The monarchs will start migrating end of this month, so right now is when they're raising their migration generation. The white snakeroot is really doing well now. Lots of these in bloom. So they have these big nettle-like leaves. The flowers look somewhat similar to boneset maybe, but boneset has very different leaves. Right away here we see a good number of white snakeroot, and that Virginia jumpseed is blooming all over here. So here we've got another yellow composite coming up. Almost looks like wingstem, but it has opposite leaves. So I think this is crownbeard. You can see that winged stem there. So that's a characteristic it shares with wingstem. But it then has opposite leaves. The horsebalm is still in bloom, and there are bumblebees on it. And we still got the Joe Pye weed blooming here too. The Indian tobacco is still blooming here. So that's that tiny white lobelia. I think I've called this rabbit tobacco before, which is actually a different plant. Common names are so confusing. There are already a lot of leaves covering the ground here. Most of these are maple leaves. These milkweed tussock moth caterpillars have found themselves a patch of poke milkweed. Yeah, they've been chewing on this. They've got this one pretty much down to a stalk. The black cohosh is all fruiting now. And the wood nettles are starting to make seeds as well. And here we've got some Indian pipes coming up. Those wood asters are blooming here. This is sometimes called zigzag aster. And if you look at the stem, you can kind of tell why it zigzags. It's a little hazy out there this morning. It's a lot of moisture still in the air, but at least it's not raining. The goldenrods are just starting to bloom now. So I've got the first yellow flowers open there. Here's another one. And here we've got flowers now on that rattlesnake root. Quite a few hickory nuts on the ground here now. This is the patch where the lilies were blooming earlier. And all the yellow stuff there, that's crownbeard now. The oxeye sunflowers are still blooming here. And here we've got probably the last flowers of that tall bellwort. The fruits on the blue cohosh have now turned blue, demonstrating why this plant is called blue cohosh. The jewelweed here is starting to make its seed pods, and those actually explode on touch, which is also why the plants are called touch-me-not. So this is a fun thing to play with. Oop, there it goes. Here's another nice big one. So you just touch it lightly, and there it goes. Now that's a big spider here. I've been running into a lot of spider webs today. Here we've got something else starting to bloom among the jewelweed. So this is a vine with trifoliate leaves. And it makes these small purple flowers. I'm pretty sure this is something in the pea family. Here's more of it climbing up. We're starting to see the leaves color up here on the spice bush, but the fruits are still green. Now I see some red fruits already on the ground, but the ones on the trays are still green. Now there's one. I really have to look for them. Now this one here gets a little bit more sun. So here the fruits are already ripening. So you see the red fruits, typical for spice bush. Still found a stalk with some nice Solomon seal berries here. The leaves are all gone by now, but this one's still holding on to some of its berries. We've still got some Solomon's plume here with fruits as well. We've got a Jack in the pulpit here making fruits. So those eventually will turn red. Now what I don't see today are these orange fruits on the fairy bells. That little scraggly thing there is pretty much the only fruit remnant I can still find. Look at those ants on there. This might very well explain why all these fruits are gone. They're really working on that. So maybe this is a plant where the seeds are actually ant dispersed. This plant right next to the trail here still has a fruit on it. And here's another spider sitting in her web. And some of the spring ephemerals are still here, obviously long past blooming, but that's bloodroot, probably now at the end of its growing season. But these leaves have been collecting energy all summer long so that they can bloom again next spring. Now, based on the location and the leaves here, I think these are the seed pods of the starry campion. Remember that smooth rock cress we saw much earlier in the year? This looks like its seed pods are about ready to split open here. You can actually see the seeds inside. And here's the rattlesnake root, or lion's foot. Remember, that's the one that changes the shape of its leaves quite drastically over the course of the year. There's some of the sweet cicely mixed in here, but this has now completely dried up. You still see the seeds, but they're pretty much done for the year. Yeah, lots of spiders out here today. I've walked into quite a few spider webs on the trail. So we're back at the northern end where the cutleaf coneflowers are still going strong here. And the white snakeroot has fully opened up now. So these are in full bloom. Now this snakeroot here looks like it has acquired some galls. That's something I haven't seen before. On other plants, yeah, but not on white snakeroot.